Thanks everyone for joining me for another episode of Cabin Fever Faith. Yeah, I'm in Northern Ontario, Canada on a fishing trip. I'm on my fourth day and up here at the Old Pulse Lodge, if you can see that. And maybe I'll talk to you a little bit about that Old Pulse Lodge. It's an old Voyageurs trading post that dates back to the 1600s. It went on to the 1950s until John and Wendy Grace kind of made it into a fishing camp. So if you get a chance, check out Old Pulse Lodge Fishing Adventures. And yeah, out here with a bunch of friends. I'll introduce to them in my next episode. But one of the things I like about being in Canada fishing is these beautiful rocks you see and the trees that grow on them. And Canada is part of what they call the Canadian Shield. And in my previous life as a geologist, the Canadian Shield is just one big solid mass of bedrock, and that's many years old. And out of that rock comes these trees. I mean, it's amazing how trees can find a way tenaciously to build on this barren rock. And so the name of this episode is Trees on Rocks. So you got black spruce here. You got some birch and some balsam, mostly black spruce up here in the North Woods. But look at this tree here. Some of these trees in the Canadian Shield, it's not just the rocks that are old, but the trees themselves can be many hundreds of years old, and they've just weathered all the storm. This particular tree on the edge of this shoreline here and on Lake St. Joseph has hung in here for many years and survived many storms and battles and everything. And it's just amazing how these trees can really kind of hang in there. So, well, how does that apply to our faith? Well, the most important tree that was ever placed on rock would be the tree of the cross that was placed on the rock of Calvary. And Calvary was just another outcrop rock that was near Jerusalem where Jesus was crucified. And it was basically an outcrop in the middle of a cemetery, because it said when Jesus died, they buried him because the tomb was nearby. Well, God planted a tree on that rock. And Calvary was that kind of rock that was not fit for the temple itself. But God chose that rock in the middle of a cemetery to plant the tree of life, to send his son to die and rise on the cross for us. And that cross, that tree has survived many centuries through winds and storms and become the tree of life and faith for all of us, and hope and promise of eternal life. So it's kind of like these trees here, right? Just hanging in there, right? Weathering the storms and surviving the test of time itself. So yeah, think of that most important tree of all, the tree of the cross, planted on the rock of Calvary itself, that has given us hope and promise. So yeah, trees on rock. Most important tree is the tree of life, which we call the cross of Jesus Christ. So I'm going to see if I can walk the edge of this rock formation on the edge of this lake without falling, and show you the original Old Pulse trading post that has survived 400 years plus. So give me a little time here. I got to be very careful where I step. These rocks can also be very slippery at times, and I don't know if you can see where I'm walking. I better watch where I'm walking. I feel flat on my face. It's a little windy too. Today the wind is kind of almost blew us off the lake. So we caught lots of walleyes, lots of trophy northerns, and basically as many walleyes as you want to catch. So, but so it was a great day. Here, look at this beautiful rock formation here. How it was carved and kind of molded and shaped by the glaciers and so forth. And this is one of the boats that they use to transport things. Kind of a barge that the Old Pulse Lodge uses to get their equipment back and forth. So let me go through the woods here and and try to make a quick trip to that old trading post, because I think it's really kind of worth it, you know, to see it, for you to see it. And yeah, the next episode I have, I'll introduce you to the guys I'm with, and we'll talk about probably something to do with water, so stay tuned for that. So, but anyway, let's take this quick little hike. It is a little bit of a hike to the trading post itself and the main cabin area, but this is on an island on I don't know what island it's called, but it's definitely an island on Lake St. Joseph that yeah, that hold this trading post. So this trading post, you know, in the old days, you know, the Native Americans as well as the fur traders would come and they would barter over furs and trade for goods, you know, whether it was tools for the Native Americans to do a better job of trapping, but also, you know, knives and guns and, you know, hatchets and so forth, so they could make their life better too. And it was, you know, both benefited, right? The fur traders, the traders themselves, got the furs, they shipped them out east and eventually into Europe for the fur, you know, the different clothing and whatever they used for it. The beaver hat was very popular back in, you know, in the 1700s. You've probably seen some old pictures or drawings of people wearing beaver hats. It's a beaver from the beaver skin, and you know, other furs too that they use for hide and clothing and what have you. So anyway, so I'm on this trail, and well, it is a long trail, let me tell you what. So, but I like the nature and the wildlife here too in Canada. You've got lots of hazel and what else? Of course, balsam, spruce, birch, sarsaparilla, where they make root beer out of. You see a lot of sarsaparilla here. And so, of course, the Native Americans knew how all these plants and how they use them for medicinal reasons. Okay, so let's see. Hope this doesn't take too long. Moving as fast as I can to get to that trading post, because it's worth seeing, at least the outside of it, and see what it looked like. It wasn't that big, but it had all the goods. And actually, the old post lodge was actually a place, a small village, where the Native Americans and the fur traders also lived. And there was even a church built on a hill here too. And we did mass while I was here with the guys on that hill, and prayed for the Native Americans who were buried there, and the fur traders as well. So yeah, I'm almost there. Please be patient. Here we go. It's a beautiful building, and now it's more of a gift shop kind of thing, but there it is, the old Post Lodge as it looked even 400 years ago. Hasn't changed much. Obviously they've fixed it up and it looks a lot better now, not that they got it renovated, but yeah. So remember, trees on rocks, big part of Canada, the Canadian Shield, which is a bunch of metamorphic rock and that's aged over time. But the most important tree of all is the tree of the cross, planted on the rock of Calvary, that is really there for the salvation of us all. God bless, take care, and until we meet again, let's keep the adventures going. And like I said, thanks for joining me at Faith with Cabin Fever. We try to link the faith to the great outdoors. God bless.